An honest evaluation of Will Campbell's play against the toughest matchup of his season. That's where we start. This is Locked On Patriots.
You are Locked On Patriots, your daily New England Patriots podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What's happening? I am your host, Nick Cattles. Born and raised in New England, been covering the Pats for the past 16 years. Also co-hosted the Greg Bedard Patriots podcast with Nick Cattles, if you want to check that out. And a sports radio veteran. On today's episode, the Pats are shuffling the running back deck, and we'll let you know what that might mean for the trading deadline. Also, the latest details on Mike Vrabel punishing one of his team's best players. But first, the perception versus the reality of Will Campbell versus Myles Garrett. We appreciate you joining the show, making us your first listen, and for being an everydayer. The Locked On Patriots podcast is a proud part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. And don't forget, if you're watching on YouTube, to press that thumbs up, comment, and subscribe, as we have climbed over 7,000 subscribers. Thanks to all of you. And today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Right now, new customers can bet just $5, and if your bet wins, you get $300 in bonus bets to use across the app. There is no better individual, there is no more talented pass rusher in the NFL than Myles Garrett. He is an absolute freak, a stud, a horse, a beast. Whatever you want to say glowingly about Myles Garrett, you can say it because he's earned it. He is absolutely tremendous at the game of football. And on Sunday against the Patriots, Myles Garrett finished with 5 sacks. Now, of course, if you hear that from somebody on the radio or you see it on TV, you might walk away immediately and go, man, oh man, Will Campbell must have been exposed. Myles Garrett handed Will Campbell his tuchus. He whooped up on the rookie. That's what the perception might be. That's what some people on Twitter might be trying to tell you. But I am here to tell you that that is not close to the truth. That is not what happened on Sunday. Will Campbell did not get his tuchus handed to him from beginning to end of that football game by Myles Garrett. As a matter of fact, I thought Will Campbell's pass protection wasn't that bad. Now, if you look at the 5 sacks from Myles Garrett, 2 of those were credited to Will Campbell. But let me give you the context of the 2 sacks. The first sack by Myles Garrett against Will Campbell came on the first drive of the game. It was a 3rd and goal, shotgun formation. Myles Garrett is lined up wide. I mean, he is wide against Campbell and Campbell's friend, Hunter Henry. And I talked about this during the preview show late last week. Garrett has this move that he calls the Euro step. And if you're an NBA fan, I'm a hardcore NBA guy, hardcore Celtics guy. The Euro step in basketball is when you take that one dramatic step and then you go into usually a layup, right? The Euro step as you're getting to the bucket and then you go up. It's a dramatic kind of lunging step. And that's what Myles Garrett has done a few times this year. He has implemented this in his game where he does this dramatic Euro step where he just kind of leaps by the defender and then uses his speed and power to get to the quarterback. In the first sack that Myles Garrett had on Sunday, he did the Euro step against Hunter Henry. And then not only that, he does the Euro step to the inside, and then he quickly beats Will Campbell to the outside. And I'm here to tell you, that's a freak. It's a freak. This stuff happens when you are going against somebody like Garrett and what he can do on the field. This type of play can happen. This is an individual freakish play by Garrett. As simple as that. So that's the first sack. Yes, it was on Campbell. Yes, Garrett beat Campbell after he beat Henry. But that stuff happens. When you're going against the best of the best, you're going to get beat, especially when somebody can do what Garrett did on that play. Let's get to the second sack. This was the second quarter, the 6th offensive possession for the Patriots. It's a 2nd and 10, shotgun formation. Now, I will say Drake May, I think had Mac Hollins. Watching the All-22, it looks like he has Mac Hollins open, but I'm not sure where he was in his progression. So he doesn't throw it to Hollins, and Myles Garrett ends up with the sack. Now, of course, it was Garrett versus Campbell. This was the sack where Drake May fumbled the football, got back on it, and, it wasn't the worst for wear, thankfully. But if you watch this back, Hunter Henry chips Garrett, and it takes Garrett about 4 seconds, if not longer, to get to Drake May. And when you are blocking against somebody like Garrett, if it's anything beyond 3 seconds, that's a win. I almost don't even count that against Campbell. If you give anybody the class of Myles Garrett 4 seconds to get to the quarterback, I don't care who the tackle is going against Garrett. In that situation, Garrett is most likely going to get to the quarterback. And a number of Garrett's sacks on Sunday, they were 4 seconds or longer. So the context matters. It's not like Will Campbell was getting his butt whooped. And I thought Campbell was pretty clean in the second half. Pass protection, especially. Now, there are two issues for Campbell. We've talked about some of this, but his consistency or lack thereof against stunts, the games that defenses play, in dealing with guys helping him. Doug Kyde posted Mike Vrabel on some of the chip plays the team used against Myles Garrett on Sunday that gave Will Campbell trouble, quote, probably need to close the space a bit. If you give the athlete like Garrett too much space, that's a danger zone. And some of these chips, it seemed like, threw Campbell off his game a little bit, and there was just too much space there after the chip for Garrett to operate. Doug Kyde on Pro Football Focus wrote, Campbell was the Patriots' fourth highest graded offensive player. So PFF, take it for what it's worth, thought Campbell was the fourth best offensive player on the field on Sunday. And here's what Garrett said about Campbell in the postgame, quote, he's strong. You want to set the tempo and the pace of the game with power. He was able to be pretty firm in his stance and keep me from knocking him back and just trying to hit him with different looks, try to keep him off guard. I think Will Campbell's been just fine, especially for a 21-year-old left tackle in his first season in the NFL. And I thought on Sunday he did a pretty respectable job against the best pass rusher he's going to face all year long, and maybe the best pass rusher he will ever face in his NFL career. Some other thoughts from the All-22. The other rookie offensive lineman, Jared Wilson, I thought was good, especially in the run game, getting to the second level multiple times. I thought the defensive backs were really good. When you watch the All-22, there were a couple of miscommunications early in this game, but on balance, the defensive backs, the coverage was really good. Whether it was zone, whether it was man, I thought the Patriots DBs played pretty well. Jalen Hawkins, I thought, was good. Marcus Jones, again, aside from a miscommunication or two, I thought he was really good. Pro Football Focus, by the way, had Christian Barmore for 8 pressures, had Milton Williams for 6 pressures. The interior defensive line continues to haunt quarterbacks and shut down run games. And here's a name that I want you to keep in mind, Corey Durden. Now, he's made a couple of plays here and there up until this past weekend. On Sunday against Cleveland, I thought Corey Durden was a problem, run and pass. He's starting to get into the backfield more often. The defensive discipline also was very good. You had the 2 trick plays. Did not trick the Patriots defense whatsoever. Fantastic eye discipline. Understanding your responsibilities, not biting and giving up a big play. So, again, Marcus Jones everywhere. Defensive backs, really good. I thought Morgan Moses had a pretty rough day. If there was an offensive lineman that was getting beat a decent amount, it was Morgan Moses, but he's been really good this year, so I'm not going to start freaking out about it, but I thought he had a pretty rough day. So those are some thoughts from my rewatch of Cleveland, New England on the All-22. All right, one of the Pats' best players gets punished by Mike Vrabel. We will have the very latest in whether or not there's reason for concern next. This is Locked On Patriots, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
I'm Cody Rourke from Locked On Broncos, and this episode is brought to you by Peloton. Peloton is shaping the future of fitness with the brand new Peloton Cross-Training Tread Plus, powered by Peloton IQ. This is Peloton's most advanced equipment yet, giving you real-time guidance and endless ways to move, whether you're running, lifting, or you're cross-training with your favorite instructors like Alex Toussaint. It's training reimagined to make your workout more personal. Peloton is built for breakthroughs with features that help you plan, stay motivated, and hit peak performance. You can let yourself run, lift, flex, and go while Peloton handles all the rest. Plus, Peloton IQ provides real-time strength coaching, tracking your progress and suggesting weights that challenge you so you can get stronger. Plus, the new movement tracking camera, it counts your reps and corrects your form in real time, making sure every rep is safer and smarter. So let yourself run, lift, flex, push, and go. Explore the new Peloton Cross-Training Tread Plus at onepeloton.com.
So when you're sitting there and you're watching the game on Sunday through the first quarter and the Patriots are out there defensively, you might be wondering, where in the world is Christian Barmore? Christian Barmore was MIA to start this game. And he was on the bike on the sidelines. But come to find out, he was benched for the first quarter. And Mike Vrabel was asked about Barmore not starting and then entering the game later in the first half. And he said in the postgame, quote, "I had to make a decision. My job is to protect the team. When there are actions that I don't feel like are in line with what we want to do here, I got to make a decision and we move on," unquote. Vrabel then followed that up Monday morning on the Greg Hill Show, WEEI. He said, quote, "Just like everything else that I do, whether that's in life, whatever, we've moved on, we've addressed it. There's no issues moving forward with me or anyone else. That's how we have to operate," unquote. Andrew Callahan made a note in the locker room that Barmore declined to speak to the media and he left. On Sunday, he bounced. Thanks, but no thanks. I'm going to pass on talking to all of you wonderful people. Not sure if that's what Barmore said to the media, but I'm gonna pass on having any conversations with you today. I'm going to move on and goodbye. So what's up here? Well, the first thing is, and I was trying to, jog my memory on whether or not we've seen a punishment from Vrabel to any Patriots player to this point. I mean, Rhamondre Stevenson had his fumbling issue, never really was punished. So it's not as if this is something that has consistently happened this year. And I believe this is the first documented punishment from Vrabel. Now, maybe some of you remember something else that I don't. It's cool. Leave a comment. I'm not always right. But I was thinking back and I said, I think this is the first documented example of Vrabel levying some kind of punishment on a player. And it's one of his best players. Christian Barmore has been really, really good. He's continued to get better as the season has gone on. Now, we can sit here and we can be concerned. We can talk about Barmore, and we know some of the stuff that happened with him last year, and I'm not talking about the blood clots, the incident away from the field with, police in Rhode Island, and he had to apologize, and he came out and apologized. So, some might say there's a big issue here or be worried about a big issue. And of course, there were some red flags about Barmore and maybe his lack of work ethic when he was at Alabama and some of those things. But I'm not concerned. I'm not concerned yet about what happened, whatever it was, because Barmore went out on Sunday and he performed. He didn't let what happened bother him. He didn't let whatever infraction he had that made Vrabel say to himself, we need to sit Barmore for the first quarter. Barmore did not let that issue bother him on Sunday. He did not let his benching for the first quarter bother him on Sunday. He didn't sulk. He didn't lollygag. He didn't tap out on the field. As a matter of fact, as I mentioned in the first segment, he went out there and got 8 pressures, and he had 30 snaps. He played only 30 snaps, and he had 8 freaking pressures. That's pretty crazy. So the performance was there. He put it behind him, whatever it was, went out there, competed, performed, produced. And in the post game, if you watch the Patriots Twitter on social media, I don't know if they put it on other social media platforms aside from Twitter. They probably do, but I saw it on Twitter. There's a video where they always take on the field after the Patriots win. Guys are running off the field and, they say something to the cameras. Barmore seemingly was fine. He was jovial after the game. If you see Mike Vrabel and how he waits for the players outside of the locker room in the tunnel after they win a game, he was there. And in the video, you could see him embrace Barmore. Didn't seem like there was any issue between he and Barmore. So, once the game started, after Barmore sat for the quarter, he went out there. He played very well. Post-game stuff seemed to go fine. As Vrabel mentioned to the media, whether it was right after the game, whether it was, Monday morning to Greg Hill, whether it was, Monday late morning to the media again during his usual Monday press conference, there was no ill will. There was nothing that seemed to speak of frustration from the head coach. Now, of course, maybe Vrabel's frustrated and he's not showing it, but it was only one quarter. If it was something that was really, really bad, you have to imagine that Barmore would not be out there. That's what you would have to believe. And my buddy Greg Bedard of Boston Sports Journal, he wrote on Sunday night, quote, "I wouldn't be alarmed. I would not be alarmed about the benching for the first quarter. From what Greg was told, the infraction was, quote, fairly harmless, unquote. So we'll see how it goes." So it was harmful enough where one of your best players gets benched for the first quarter, but it was not harmful enough to sit him out a half, sit him out a game. And whoever spoke to Greg Bedard about it said it fairly harmless. So maybe he was late for a meeting. Maybe he was late for, I don't know, a practice. I have no idea. But it doesn't seem like it rose to the level of, oh my goodness, we really got a problem here. Things can always change. If there's multiple infractions, if this is the beginning of some issues with Barmore, then of course we'll talk about it then, and the concern level will rise if this continues to be an issue. But a one-time infraction is not the end of the world. It doesn't sound like it's a big deal on either side. It doesn't sound like, Barmore didn't seem affected by it. Vrabel doesn't seem affected by it. So, hey, something had to be done. The coach stepped up, benched him for a quarter. Hopefully he learned his lesson. Vrabel is setting a precedent for everybody else on this team. Let's say if it was, hypothetically, Barmore being late to a meeting. Well, now the precedent has been set. If you're late to a meeting, you're going to be benched for a quarter. And if you're going to bench Barmore, you're going to bench pretty much anybody and everybody. Because, again, he's one of your best players on defense. Now, it is the one spot on defense that I think that you can get away with doing something like this and not necessarily have it harm you, because you have depth on the interior of the defensive line. Milton Williams has been really good. Kyrie's Tonga was really good. This past game, he had a couple of impact snaps. The first one of the game when he's all over the screen. But Kyrie's Tonga this year has been really, really good. And even as I mentioned, Corey Durden earlier, Joshua Farmer, he was more quiet in this game, but Joshua Farmer has made some impact plays on the film as well. So when you talk about interior defensive line depth, do you feel like you've got some of that? Of course, Barmore, again, is one of the best players on the team, so you are going to take a step back a bit, but you can fill, his spot with Kyrie's Tonga for the first quarter and mix in a little bit of Durden and Farmer, and you're probably going to get through okay. So we'll keep an eye on it. If something else is reported about this, we'll be all over it. But right now, I would not have huge concern. Doesn't seem like it was a significant situation between Barmore and the team. And you just march on forward and continue to play really good football. So let's hope everything is on the up and up. No distractions needed. and it's been settled. The run game has looked better the last 2 weeks, and there's one thing that has started to impress us. Find out what that is next as we continue with today's episode of Locked On Patriots, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Let's be real. Making excuses doesn't solve anything. We've all heard them before. It's just stress. I'm tired. Or it happens to everyone sometimes. But when it comes to performance, sometimes your body just needs a little extra support. And that's where Rougiette comes in. Rougiette.com offers fast-acting, doctor-prescribed treatments for ED designed to help you stop making excuses and start making moves. Rougiette makes it easy to get started. Just connect with a board-certified doctor, 100% online, no awkward waiting rooms, no in-person appointments. And if prescribed, your treatment ships discreetly straight to your door. Visit rugiet.com/LockedOnNFL to get 15% off your first order. That's rugiet.com/LockedOnNFL. And don't forget to use our code LOCKEDONNFL so they know that we sent you. Rougiette, stop making excuses and start making moves. The NBA is back, and there's no better place to get in on the action than FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA. Even if you missed the start of the game or want to ride the hot hand, FanDuel has live bets on everything from who will score next to fourth quarter comebacks. You always have a shot to enjoy the game and the action. It is simply awesome. Plus, you can even combine your live bets into a same-game parlay for a shot at a bigger payout. I love some same-game parlays. I have had my share of wins using that good old SGP icon on game days. If you don't know what I'm talking about, check out the app. It keeps every game exciting, especially when your team's making that late push. Again, the NBA is back, and there's no better place to get in on the action than FanDuel. It's the official sports betting partner of the NBA, and right now, FanDuel is giving new customers $300 in bonus bets when your first $5 bet wins. So head to FanDuel.com, sign up, and play your game with FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA. I've talked about this before, but I expected the run game to lead the offensive charge, at least early in the season. And that's not what happened. As we know, the run game early on through the first 5 or 6 weeks, for the most part, aside from the first half against Miami, you would say was pretty putrid. The last 2 weeks, however, we're seeing some signs of life. 175 rushing yards at Tennessee, 177 rushing yards against the Browns at Gillette this past weekend. Now, I don't want to be disingenuous. I don't want to sit here and tell you that everything is perfect. Of course, when we look at the 175 and the 177 the last 2 weeks, we also have to account for Drake May. And May had 50 rushing yards on Sunday against the Browns. He had 62 rushing yards at Tennessee. So the quarterback is helping. But if we're going to be fair, we would also say the Patriots in both of those games playing from ahead. And if you're playing from ahead, defenses pretty much key on the run, thinking you're going to run the clock out, baby. When you're up 2 scores, 3 scores, you're going to run the clock out. So to be fair, we also have to keep that in mind. But the most impressive part of this run game to me is the versatility within said run game, the versatility of this scheme. When we think about Josh McDaniels, and we spent some time before the season kicked off discussing Josh McDaniels' offense and what he does, and we saw a lot during his prior tenures as OC in New England. You saw a lot of combo, downhill, gap running. Saw a lot of that. It wasn't necessarily, wow, look at these, little tricks of the trade that they have. And they caught the team completely by surprise by running this certain motion or that certain motion. Now, there was some of it because McDaniels does love a trick play or two, which we saw him break out on Sunday. But what you're seeing from this run game, even while the production wasn't necessarily there, was a lot of versatility. And man, you saw it against Cleveland. You saw all sorts of different looks. You had a speed option from Drake May to Rhamondre Stevenson. Nice little speed option play. You had a jet sweep, Pop Douglas, of course. It's nice. You had a couple of them. One worked out great. One stunk. But you had a couple of jet sweeps called. You had pitches to the right, pitches to the left. You had tosses to the right, tosses to the left. So you're seeing some of these perimeter runs, right? The speed options, the jet sweeps, the pitches and tosses, these runs that are designed to attack the perimeter. In that third quarter, the first drive for the Patriots coming out of halftime, just look at that drive. I mean, that drive is the perfect example of how to attack a defensive edge that is trying to get to the quarterback with your run game. There's a lot of different ways you can do it. You can do the jet sweep stuff. You can say we have a quarterback that is athletic, that can run with the football, so let's throw in a speed option here or there. Let's pitch the football a couple of times to TreVeyon Henderson and get him outside the tackles so he can attack. So you saw that. But you also saw some of the old schools. You see some of the old school, at least formations. I formation with Jack Westover. Saw that a number of times. Whether it's right in front of the running back or it's offset to the running back. You see the I form. You see the fullback in the backfield. So you see that kind of different look. You see runs from the split back formation when you've got Drake May in the shotgun and he's got, two running backs, one on each side along with him. Sometimes you'll have Westover as one of the guys in the backfield that's standing alongside Drake May along with another running back, whether it's Henderson or it's Stevenson. You've seen some runs from the split back formations. You've seen throws from the split back formations, but you're talking speed options, jet sweeps, pitches, tosses, I form with Westover, runs from split back formations, outside zone runs. You've seen the old stuff that we've seen before from McDaniels with the combos and the downhills and the gap run. You've seen all of this. Seen all of it. And I still think that McDaniels is figuring out who is best at what and what is truly effective for this team. And I think that's why you saw against the Browns, you saw McDaniels use Henderson more as that danger guy getting to the outside, getting to the outside, to the boundary, to the perimeter, and beating those edges. And so you're starting to see McDaniels slowly piece this thing together. And you've got Rhamondre Stevenson. You want to talk about versatility? You could talk about versatility from the backs. Rhamondre Stevenson is a versatile piece. He can run outside. He can run inside. He's been really good with pass protection. We saw him as a receiver on Sunday. Henderson's not only an attack the perimeter guy, he can do some other things as well. And he's getting better every week at pass protection. He'll slip up every once in a while, but when you compare, he had a really good block on Sunday during the Mac Hollins crossing route for the nice little chunk play. Henderson picks up the pass protection on the edge. So he's getting better there. I mean, we've seen even a little bit of Terrell Jennings and his ability to be a hard, angry, finishing type runner. Just a banger on the interior of the offensive line. So you start to see some of the versatility from the backs you have, but the versatility from McDaniels as a play caller, attacking run defenses in a bunch of different ways. And as McDaniels told the media last week, sometimes we're going to call a run and it might not work, but there's a reason why we call that run. We will give a similar look later in the game. And because we've ran out of that look, this time we're going to throw out of the look. And if that pass play goes for 25, 30 yards, you might not even be thinking about the run play that was designed a quarter or 2 quarters ago that helped open up that pass play to go 20, 25, 30 yards. Sequencing of plays, setting defenses up early in the game for something later. It's an art. It's an art form. And, if a certain run doesn't pop, it doesn't mean it's a complete waste of the team's time, of the offense's time. Meanwhile, speaking of Terrell Jennings, he's expected to sign on the 53-man roster. He's done with the elevations. He cannot be elevated on game day anymore, so he's going to have to sign. Vrabel was asked about it on Monday. Certainly sounds like Jennings is going to be on the 53-man. He's going to be signed off the practice squad. Reportedly, Aaron Wilson reports that the Patriots are signing Jonathan Ward, a veteran running back, and that makes some sense. If you're going to sign Jennings to the 53, you've got to replace somebody. You've got to place him on the practice squad, and you got to find somebody who you can plop on there. And that, for right now, seems to be Jonathan Ward. And don't forget, the trade deadline is November 4th. So a week from today, the trading deadline. See if the Patriots make a move at that position. They might feel like they're fine. After seeing Henderson on Sunday, Stevenson's got it going a little bit. They seemingly like Jennings. He's run well when he's been given the opportunity. So we'll see if they do anything at that position. All right, that wraps up this edition of Locked On Patriots. Thank you for making us your first listen and for being an everydayer. Reach out to me on Twitter at NickCRadio. And don't forget to throw a comment in on the YouTube channel. Hit that like button and subscribe. And for your second listen, get a double dose of the Locked On NFL podcast with Tyler the Madman Rowland and Tony Wiggins. Find Locked On NFL on YouTube or wherever you listen to podcasts. Have a great day, and we will see you tomorrow.